G'day guys, welcome to episode 175 of Ask Jack D. Today we talk about the top 3 mistakes startup business owners make. And for the first time in 175 episodes, Rosie has a mic.
Hey guys.
28 and I'm trying to shape history, pulling from the sky for some strength to take with me. Line up the stars, fly away quickly and push the world forward like a tidal wave hit me. I ride the wave swiftly, I fear no man, check my titles mate quickly. Came from the sky with the light of day in me and grew my own wings.
We are rolling. Episode 175. Rosie, what is today's question?
Okay, so today's question comes from Sean Arthur.
Yes,
from
Sean
Facebook.
Arthur.
With 4 to 5 previous businesses past, what would be your top 3 don't do's to any new startup that hit you hard?
Cool. So firstly, before I get into that, you're probably going to need to read that because all I could think was, Rosie has a microphone. It took us 175 episodes. I was actually listening because I never watch this show, right? If I present, I don't watch it back. I just don't have the time to watch anything back. I don't have the time to perform. Sorry, I don't have the time to rehearse, nor do I have the time to ever watch anything back. However, someone was playing the podcast in my car the other day and I said, Rosie sounds really distant. So it's taken us 175 episodes. She now has a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
What was the question?
Okay, so with 4 to 5 previous businesses,
yes,
what would be your top 3 don't do's for any new startup?
So startups not to do. Okay,
yeah. Number
1. The biggest barrier to growth for any startup in Australia is that we try and do too much, right? An entrepreneur's biggest strength is that we love to pursue opportunity. An entrepreneur's biggest weakness is that we love to pursue opportunity. What happens when we start out in business, particularly if it's early on in our business career, is that we try and do far too much. We love chasing shiny things. The hardest thing for an entrepreneur to do is say no. The hardest thing, even harder than that for an entrepreneur to do, is say no to what looks like a good opportunity or a shiny opportunity, right? And so the first thing you shouldn't do is spread yourself too thin and overcommit. What you should do is pick one thing and try and become the best in the world at it. The second thing that you shouldn't do as a startup business owner, spread yourself too thin. I think the second thing is you shouldn't try and, okay, I've got my third thing. Let me go back to the second thing. The second thing you shouldn't do is be a solution looking for a problem, right? You absolutely, in the early days, well, in any days of business, if you want to have traction, particularly if you want to have scalable and sustainable traction, you need to be addressing a proper market demand, meaning enough people have this problem and they want it solved and I reckon I can solve it. Now that doesn't mean that we go to market with something we think that works and just keep pushing that down people's throat. We'll still iterate, we'll still evolve, we'll still change, we'll still evolve. However, we will do it in accordance with and centered around the problems that our consumer faces, right? So a lot of people go into business today because it's fashionable, and then they go, you know what, I would love to start an app that does X, Y, Z, but there isn't actually any proof or evidence that that is a problem that people want solved, right? So we've got an app that does X, Y, Z, and then then we'll go looking for a consumer that we think it might apply to, and we'll try and wrap some communications and some marketing around it so that they want it. We're kind of putting the cart before the horse in the sense that we need to be addressing a problem first and foremost. So don't be a solution looking for a problem. Be grounded in the challenges, the fears and the frustrations of your consumer and build something that resolves that. The third thing that you shouldn't do as a startup entrepreneur, business owner, is try and do it all by yourself, right? I think that a bit of a myth that forms around business is that the entrepreneur is the person that does everything. Now, in the beginning, you will be the person that has to do everything. However, it should be your objective, it should be the objective of every great entrepreneur that as the organization grows, your involvement in the day-to-day operations of the business will dilute as the organization grows, right? So as you start to build a little bit of revenue, you should outsource, you should delegate the administrative tasks. Then as you go a little bit, you could delegate the marketing. As it goes a little bit, delegate the operations. It goes a little bit, delegate the whatever, right? And so you essentially want to get to a point where the business on a day-to-day basis runs without you and you are redundant from an operational perspective. Now you can become redundant from an everything perspective if you want to. However, if you're doing something you love, which is what I suggest you do, and it's what I do, then you'll always want to be involved in the dynamics and the development of how this organism grows, and you'll probably be the person best placed to do that. However, you're not the person best placed to run the mechanics or the operations or the day-to-day management of the business. You are the best person to lead it. You're probably not the best person to manage the mechanics of it, right? And so a lot of people go into business thinking that it's like they've come from a job where you just do stuff all day, and then they go into entrepreneur land and they think it's about doing stuff all day. And it is about doing stuff all day, but you want to get to the point where the stuff you are doing is thinking, strategizing, envisaging, research, development, coaching, mentoring, development, direction to your executive team, right? And so while in the beginning, yes, absolutely, by virtue of not having capital and revenue and all of that sort of stuff, you'll have to do absolutely everything. But as it grows, make sure you're diluting your involvement so that you get to a point where your job is thinking, is giving direction, is leadership, is research, is looking out into the world and going, where should I steer this ship? Number one question for you guys in the comments below. What's the biggest mistake you made in startup? Years 1 to 3. What was the biggest mistake you made going through those years? In the comments below, I'll be there. That was an awesome episode. Episode 175. We cannot wait to speak to you guys tomorrow.
So what that means right now is my head's in the cloud with my feet tied down.